What is going on, everyone? This is Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. I'm also the Director of Research at Leduc Trading. It is January 7th, 2021. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today we're going to talk about the price action in the indices, the volatility crush that we saw in response to the craziness in DC yesterday. We're going to go under the hood and check out our sectors and style factors. I placed a lot of trades today, and we're going to take a look at those, and then we'll wrap up with some options order flow. But before we jump in, quick risk disclaimer, as always, nothing in this video should be construed as advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan and your own risk parameters. And last but not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. If my screen right here will cooperate. Okay, there we go. So for the broad markets, we had the S&P 500 up 1.49% today. We had the NASDAQ, QQQ, those big tech monopolies up 2.42%. Then we had the IWM small caps up 1.78%. And we had the Dow Jones up 0.74%. And coming into today's session, I didn't really know what to expect. Like I told you guys in yesterday's video, I did put a hedge on into the close yesterday just because I was like, I don't really know what to expect. If something crazy happens, I just want to have something on to protect me. I think the tell for yesterday where maybe I could have avoided putting that hedge on was just that we didn't really close on the lows yesterday. So you can see, right here, we still maintained most of our gains, even in the height of all the craziness when nobody knew what was going on. So moving forward, if I want to be an even better trader, I might have been able to even avoid putting a hedge on, but it just seemed like the prudent thing to do at the moment. This morning, however, I was very prepared to be wrong on that hedge because I had those doubts. Like, okay, the price action didn't really confirm it, whatever. So I took my hedge off, first thing in the morning. I took about a 20% loss on that hedge. That implied volatility just came right out of my SPY hedge. And I was like, you know what? I really don't care. I'm just getting rid of this thing. I guess it served its purpose, but I didn't really need it. But you can see here in today's action, we got a lot of bullish follow through. So I'm assuming there were other players like me that maybe bought some protection yesterday, had to unwind it. That's just my assumption of what happened. But we ended up following through. We're above the monthly value area. We're above all the key moving averages. And you can see we hit, our R1 pivot level of 3780. And if I zoom out a little bit here, it looks like the next upside target for the market, could be 3900. And I know that's very tough to for people to wrap their heads around. Like, it certainly is even tough for me to wrap my head around because it's like the market's never been at this level. Like, how can it get so high? Take a look. We have this R2 pivot level at around 3,900. Like, how can it be doing this? But if you look at the setup technically, it's not like this is like some crazy run that we're just going parabolic in the indices. We're kind of making our little stair step up here. So we'll have to see what happens. We do have options expiration next week, which can be a bit of a game changer. But as of right now, the trend is up. So, for me personally, I just have to respect that. And that's given, I'm doing the investing championship this year. So, I have no time to be biased, no time to hold losers, no time to hold, any feelings about the market, any of that stuff. So right now, it really is, bullish until proven bearish. And then we have the Qs. Qs are looking very similar. The Qs had a really nice break above the monthly value area today. And since we're talking about the Qs, I'm just going to pull up our heat map here. And you can see, we had some really nice breadth today. So I'm just going to pull it up, our FinViz heat map. Because for the most part, if the companies like Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, Amazon, if those companies are up on the day, the NASDAQ is going to have a pretty good performance most likely. And you can see here, we got a really nice day for those names. So if you look, Tesla up 8%, Google up 3%, Apple up over 3%. So really nice day for the Qs. And then if we flip over to the small caps, you can see here. So we had nice follow through for the small caps, and it looks like that next pivot level is at around like 217-ish. So yeah, really nice follow through for these small caps after this, dip over here. And then the Dow Jones. You can see the Dow Jones also following through, but more of like a kind of like a doji candle, not quite, but we didn't really close anywhere near the highs in the Dow Jones. So bit of a shocker. Dow Jones ends up being the weakest of these indices. And now if we take a look at our sectors and style factors, just to see, what were the big movers today. So you can see these same few areas continue to show strength. So we had solar energy up 5.76%, another really strong performance. We had the cannabis ETF YOLO up 2.99%, and then regional banks have, taken the third slot. That one is, like a bit of a change, but yeah, up 2.96%. Then you can see the ARK funds, right behind those, having really nice bounces, all of them. ARKK is one that I typically like to add to on corrections. But yeah, all these, they're just great products, and they tend to be leaders. And then if you take a look at some of the laggards, we have consumer staples, we have the aerospace and defense, and then we also have real estate. Now if we take a look at our style factors, you can see in the lead we have high beta stocks had a really nice day, up 1.68%, and the momentum style factor had a beautiful day, and I was able to capitalize on that today, which was awesome. See, we did that, and then the growth style factor as well. So I tend to, in my trading, there's a lot of traders out there that are really successful that they just focus on the growth stocks, and they're like the canned slim traders. A lot of them are amazing traders. What I notice is like they only stick with that one style factor. So when that style factor suffers, their portfolio is going to suffer as well. For me, I try to be a little bit more of an all-around player where when value catches momentum, I try to get into those value names as well. But for me, I would say most of my portfolio tends to be concentrated in those growth names as well. So when that style factor is doing well, that's when I really get a chance to, catch fire in my trading. So if we take a look at some of the trades that I put on today, I had a watch list of maybe like 4 or 5 stocks that I was really interested in hitting today. Because like I said yesterday, I put a hedge on, but I knew even when I put my hedge on, like there's a good chance this thing could just go really bullish tomorrow. And I identified that, in the pre-market, this looks very bullish. There were a bunch of really good setups. So TDOC was one I was able to capitalize on. And I bought, I got into some short-term calls in TDOC. I put on like the 220 strike calls in the morning, like right when the market opened, because I saw, we had this essentially like a breakout in TDOC, but then with that, crazy madness going on in DC, the breakout was kind of like cut short. There was some selling towards the end of the day, but I had in my head like TDOC, could be, a leader. And as I've been talking about in these videos, especially for 2021, I want to find the good technical setups, but I also want to find really strong, fundamental stocks that have long tails behind them and could be leaders, for maybe months, maybe, weeks, whatever. I just want to find higher quality companies that I can stick with a little bit longer. So I ended up putting these on right in the morning towards the lows of the day. I was able to pull this off for like a quick, 50% gain. And I took a target here at around 210. And I actually was like, oh my gosh, this thing might just keep running. And I wanted to stick with the trade. So I ended up going with the, 220 by 240 call spread in TDOC for February. So I figure the one thing I thought was super interesting about this setup and why I wanted to really stick with it was because like I am a momentum trader myself. So I know what I look for, when I'm curating my watch list and looking for stocks to trade. And this one, it had a really nice breakout. So some would say like it's up 12%. Maybe you should just drop it. That's what I would originally think too. But when I look at this bigger picture pattern that's developing over the past, since June, so since the summer, Teladoc has done all of nothing. And the high was hit around 253. And I know when people look at this chart tonight, if they are not in Teladoc, they're going to say, man, Teladoc is super strong. And look how close it is to the prior all-time high. So I do think there will be some incremental players that come in that want to play this to see, oh my gosh, can we break out of this, really big base? That's why I wanted to stick with it. But we'll see what happens. I could totally just be, completely off on that. Let's see. Baidu is one that I took a stab at today as well. Baidu, there was some news that hit the tape about them starting their own electric vehicle company. And so I jumped right into some Baidu commons. I actually purchased, some Baidu short-term calls as well on my prop account. And what I did was I stuck with the common shares, but the short-term calls that I bought, I stopped out of them for a small loss. Because I noticed like the move I was expecting didn't really come. And I had a really nice, play with T-Doc. I didn't want to mess around with it too much. So I said, you know what, I'm going to take this one off for like a very small loss today. The other thing I noticed today was when I was looking for options, the spreads were all super wide on these. So I don't know if like dealers are just getting like blown out by how bullish everything is. So when something goes bullish, they're just widening their market significantly. But I noticed Baidu was like super wide when I tried to enter. So that was another reason why I was like, let me just, ditch these really quick. But Baidu still looks pretty good. So, we'll see if it follows through tomorrow. We'll have to see. And then Roku was one, that I was watching as well. Roku, I do still have a position that I've just been holding for the long term. And Roku, had a really nice breakout. So this stock, very bullish. This is another one that I think has a really long, tail to it. So Roku, had this nice pullback. That was the other thing too. Like all of the best businesses in the marketplace, when we entered this new year, they were all trading at discounts. Well, I don't mean like a discount in terms of valuation, but they had all taken corrections and they were getting close to their moving averages. So that's why, like, as I see these things start to, go crazy, I'm like, I'm jumping into a couple of these, before they get super extended. Because the worst thing, and this happens to me all the time, is you don't pounce when you immediately have that, when you immediately see the setup. And then a couple days later, when the thing has gone parabolic, then you're really kicking yourself. And then you're like, man, should I get in now? And the risk reward just isn't in your favor. So that's why I wanted to make sure I'm on top of these. If I see one, like I'm jumping into it today. And then IPOE was another one. I've been positioning in a bunch of these SPACs, and I always talk about these Chamath SPACs and positioning in these ones that haven't moved yet. And that was actually a big part of my strategy, coming into the competition, where I'm like, I want to get into some of these SPACs that I think have potential that haven't moved yet. So IPOE is one of them. And this one, they announced they're merging with SoFi, which does basically like a bunch of products, for like personal finance. Like they do loans. I think they do like credit scores. They do like stuff like that. But yeah, Chamath actually posted a one-pager on them. It does look like they have a pretty strong business, pretty, good runway for growth. So yeah, this one, it just mooned, 57% in a day. Is that right? Yes, this one went crazy. So I'm still holding this one. I didn't take anything off the table with this name. And to be honest, I probably should have, because this is like a ridiculous one-day gain. But with these SPACs, part of my mentality is like, who knows? I invested in maybe like 8 SPACs. And I've talked about each and every one of them in these market recap videos. And I'm like, I invested in all these pretty close to 10. What happens if one of them becomes a $50 stock? So like, if one of them becomes a $50 stock, if the rest just stay at $10, that's still like as a basket, just an awesome trade. So this thing going up 57%, who's to say this isn't going to be the $30 stock or the $40 stock? I mean, it's probably not going to be. So I probably should have taken some gains off, but that's sort of my thinking. Where if one of them catches fire, I want to wait for a sell signal until I get out of it. I don't want to like prematurely, just take it off the table. Same thing, I've been positioning in all these IPOC as well. Had a really nice day. And it makes sense because now what's going to happen is people are going to see the other Chamath SPACs that haven't really moved yet. And they're going to go, okay, IPOE, had a crazy move when they announced the acquisition. Maybe I should also position in some of those other SPACs to try to take advantage of that as well. IPOC is one. They're going through the merger tomorrow, I believe. They're merging with Clover Health, and they're about to switch over to the new ticker. Let's see how the other ones did. iPod. Yeah, iPod. There's another one that hasn't even announced an acquisition yet, but it's up 13%. So now these Chamath SPACs, pre-acquisition, they're trading $5 above the the notional value of the SPAC. So pretty interesting stuff going on in this space. And you can see here IPOF as well. I don't know why this one didn't get any love. Maybe somebody knows, they know what the acquisition targets are. Now I'm not sure. But yeah, this one as of right now at $13, up 8.11%. Yeah, that was sort of the big excitement for me today, hitting TDOC and hitting IPOE. That about does it for most of the trades that I put on today, most of my activity. Let's take a look at some options order flow. And we will see what we had today. So let's take a look. So we're going to filter for $1 million and above. I am going to post my affiliate link for Cheddarflow in the description to this video if you're interested in doing a 7-day trial. We had a lot of orders come in. So as per usual, we have our bullish Tesla orders. They're coming in for the March 2022 calls at the 900 strike. So they're just going for it. Oh my gosh, Plug was another one I forgot to tell you guys about. So Plug, and I'm actually going to pull this up. So Plug was another one that I hit. So this is again the Leduc trading community, just like the Slack channel. And I have one of my own right here, my own little channel in the group. And this was one yesterday when I was doing sort of my afternoon cleanup, whatever you want to call it. I just stay all night doing research on stocks. I saw this headline drop: Plug Power and South Korean SK Group to form a strategic partnership to accelerate hydrogen economy expansion in Asian markets. Plug Power to receive a $1.5 billion strategic investment. And the first thing that I thought was how big is the market cap of this company? And Plug, you can see, has a $21 billion market cap. That's after a ripper of a day today. So at the time, think about it, take away 35%, 10% is about 2.1 billion. So maybe 3.3 billion. So this is around a $17 billion company getting a $1.5 billion investment. So I saw that and I was I'm jumping at this stock. I've already traded it a couple times. It's in the clean energy space, and I've been talking about clean energy. I want to get in some of the leaders in that space for 2021. So I jumped in and I said I bought some Plug in after hours for $39.81. Some of my better trades in 2020 have been breaking news trades after market hours. So this is crucial, guys. This is actually one of only a few actionable trading tips I can give you, or just my personal wisdom. There's actually a lot of opportunities in the after hours market. So when you're just sitting at your computer, at your machine, and you see a headline come up for a stock, the nuance is you have to be able to interpret what's a meaningful headline and what's not. Sometimes you'll get it wrong. Sometimes I get it wrong too, with Baidu. The headline dropped today about their EV stuff. I lunged at it and it didn't really move. But this one, I lunged at it and it worked. So yeah, I definitely noticed that, where if you can be that trader that sees a headline, processes it in less than 60 seconds, and makes the decision, I'm going to buy some, and you just buy some in the after hours, you can end up getting a nice ripper. I did the same thing in 2020 with Nanox one time. And, similar story. So I love these trades. Breaking news trades are probably my favorite kind of trade because it requires you to think, very quickly. Yeah, that's like my little side tangent. So plug was another one. I just plunged into some common shares and it worked out for today. But yeah, I just realized that when I looked at the options activity and I saw plug. So we had some Apple activity. PayPal. It's kind of interesting. 1.2 million. And there were some other stocks that really moved today. Like there was that company like Triple D that went insane. Yeah, PayPal looks like a nice setup. I got stopped out of some PayPal calls the other day. This looks like a good setup. Let's see. This one, DDD. Everybody always wants to talk about like the biggest mover. So yeah, DDD. What does this company even do? It went up 100%. Oh my lord. It opened up at $12.42 and had a ripper. All of this was intraday. What do these guys do? What do they like cure COVID? 3D Systems Corporation, through its subsidiaries, provides 3D printing and digital manufacturing solutions worldwide. For 3D printers, selective lasers, splintering, direct metal printing. There must have been like some sort of news item about this company, or... Okay, they reported financial results. I don't know. Is this like a... Yeah, and the short float's pretty high. I got to look more into this one. Yeah, I'm certainly not going to chase it up 100%, but yeah, we'll see. This one, I don't know much about it, so I definitely want to learn more. And then, what else did we have? Some SPY options. Doesn't really look like that much that's too interesting. These are like the usual suspects. Let's see what this one is. URI. United Rentals. This is a pretty nice move too. Industrials renting and leasing services. That's interesting. That's more like a value play. It looks like to me. Square. Oh my gosh, look at this. 27.7 million and 10.3 million, and they went out in time. So this is June and this is January 2023. Let's see what Square did today. Nice. Yeah, nice move for Square. Pretty much back to the all-time highs. So you can see with the highest quality names, this is something I've just been internalizing as well. If you find a name that's super, super high quality and it pulls back to a moving average, I don't want to say you want to be buying the stock because anything can happen. Something, it could just slice through a moving average or whatever. But when you're in a bull market like this and there's a correction, to a key moving average, you definitely want to at least have it on your radar. Like I didn't hit Square. Like I wasn't in this one, but I was participating in a bunch of other ones. Like Spotify, that's another one that I traded as well. Spotify, look at this. Spotify, another really strong company that was just having a bit of a correction. Up 5.45% today. I went with, I believe it was like a 330 by 340 call spread. What did I do? Yeah, I went with the 330 by 340 call spread. And that's for February. So I went out in time for that one as well. Yeah, I can't even remember what I traded. Like I said, I was trading a lot today. So yeah, I bought this one, I think when it started to cross this 20-day moving average. But yeah, 330 to 340, considering where it is right now, that's not too unrealistic. So we'll see what happens with Spotify. But that about does it for this market recap video. I can just go on and keep talking. I don't want to keep you guys all night. That being said, I hope you all have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you all tomorrow.